you kung fu hot dog. You're a toxic man, baby. You hate everything we like. You make me want to cry.
Oh my God. So amidst the crazy celebrations happening in the UK today, folks, with the Queen celebrating 70 years on the throne and people losing their minds at Harry and Meghan. By the way, Harry, did you know that your wife Meghan was in a bit of a saucy scene in season 2 of Suits? Yeah, that's kind of some of the worst orgasmic acting I've ever seen, but now that I can try and unsee that image out of my head, let's get back to the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of The Boys on Amazon Prime. What did I think of these first 3 episodes? Rewind. Not a lot, actually. There were some redeeming factors, namely Anthony Starr as Homelander, and of course the one and only Carl Urban as Billy Butcher. He's going to come round and smash your head, mate. We do have a moment where the scandal of Stormfront and that she was a Yahtzee comes out, and they have to remove her scenes from the film about the Seven, and it's kind of echoing obviously Ezra Miller and Amber Heard to a lesser degree, but I will come back to Amber Heard a bit later on actually in this quick oversight video. So they're calling it the something cut, and it's like, oh, here we are, this is the brand new version, we all redeem ourselves, whatever. Then we have Victoria, you know, the head popper, the woman who's a fan of the film Scanners with Michael Ironside, where everybody was exploding in the last season of The Boys, and we find out some more about her. She comes up with some cringe dialogue.
Oh, and Huey?
Yeah?
Cut her some slack. You shouldn't be afraid of a powerful woman.
Which I just thought, we don't need this, but oh my god, folks, it gets even more worse. So we find ourselves at an amusement park, a fun fair, whatever you want to call it. They're selling BLM burgers or hot dogs and LGBT burgers and hot dogs.
I would love for it to be after I'm dead.
You can't make it up. You seriously cannot. You know what they say? When you open the door and you let the devil in, this is what you get. I will say no more on that one. Then we have A-Train. Now, he's going through a very strange story arc at the moment. He's not my favourite character in this series. I just find him quite loathsome, and nothing to do with the actor who plays him. I just don't like the character. But we find him, he's at a crossroads in his life now where he's putting on the old weight. He can't wear girdles to suppress his weight because Homelander sees that and just calls him out for his bullshit. But now A-Train wants to go to Africa to find out about his ancestry. Now, word for the wise out there, I was born and raised in the UK. Do I have any desire to go to my parents' homeland to see where they came from? No, not really. That is not in my wired frame to do so. I've got better things to do, like looking after an insufferable mum and saying all sorts of curse words behind closed doors. Which is why I guess I find Billy Butcher so relatable. That man drops more C-bombs than the Sex Pistols. But I'll get back to Carl Urban later on. So, going back to A-Train, there is a moment where he decides not to go to Africa anymore because, wait for it, his brother told him that the real crime with black people happens on his homeland. He shows him a cell phone piece of footage where another white on black crime has happened, and who is the perpetrator, or maybe the antagonist? A white superhero called Blue Hawk. So you know there's going to be a showdown between A-Train and Mr. Blue Hawk himself. I don't know why they have to write that in and what purpose it serves, but to me, it serves nothing. Now we get the Me Too element. So you know I talked about Amber Turd a few moments ago. A lot of what she said in that trial against her ex-husband, Johnny Depp, was born out of Me Too. She was playing that false victim. She is pretty much the sociopath we've come to know her to be. And while Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight, isn't a sociopath in the show, It's just really weird that when the Deep comes back into the proceedings, the Deep, the Aquaman version, the better looking version, as played by Chase Crawford, because if you saw the first season, he does some very unpleasant stuff with Annie behind closed doors, and the old Me Too echo chamber is in full effect in these first 3 episodes, where he's brought back in to rejoin the Seven again, but Homelander puts him through a really cringe-worthy hazing, if you like, to get him back into the team again. So you've got that playing. And you know, I think somebody said that this season is about the exploring the misogyny of men. It's a pretty awful ideology to be going through with. And you know, you get those certain male characters that you liked from before taking orders or advice from women, being controlled by them. It doesn't make any sense to me why they're going there. I mean, Maeve, her teaming up with Billy Butcher is a nice dynamic. I like it. Billy Butcher, for me, he's based. He's the alpha male of the show. I absolutely love the way he's portrayed by Carl Urban. And as I said before, you know, I've got an insufferable mum I look after, and I see a lot of me in Billy. It's really, really awesome. I'm even growing a bit of a Billy beard as well, just like Carl Urban. He wears that beard very well, I got to say, and he's really, really nailed the Cockney accent. And I will say that there are some slightly redeeming things about the show. Obviously, you got Mother's Milk with Laz Alonso. Like, the dynamic with the main characters like Frenchie and Kamika, everybody else, it's all really, really good. I like that. But that's where the show, that's his biggest strength, yeah? When you don't see the superheroes or the supervillains together, the rest of the show starts to fall apart for me so far. Like, maybe a redeeming thing for me is Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, and we see a Nicaragua flashback in episode 3, which is pretty good. Jensen's definitely not playing a version of Dean Winchester. It's a completely different character altogether, which I loved. And I'm not really sure. Then we got the father and son bond between Billy Butcher and his son, which I absolutely love. I adore that. And Anthony Starr as Homelander is getting out of control at an increasingly alarming rate. There is a funny moment as well where they want to enlist a diverse superhero into the Seven, but because of the religious overtones about her character, which Homelander highlights later on, which I thought was pretty funny, that just wasn't allowed to go further than it should have. And I guess some critics might find that offensive, but the whole point of the show that is meant to be offensive in the first place. I mean, right now you have superhero films that aren't doing well on both television and in the cinema. Yes, Disney, I'm talking to you. So for me, The Boys was meant to be like the nice offset to that. It was meant to be like this nice little bitter pill you can have and laugh at the expense of those AAA films that no one gives a crap about these days. But I will say this much: the first 3 episodes of The Boys didn't really set me alight. I will say the first episode, where there's a guy called Cold Snap who literally goes up men's body holes or other orifices and makes them blow up, is just kind of like one of the more amusing things that I enjoyed, and I wanted a bit more of that sick satirical humor. Now, at the end of the day, we got a Guy Fieri, Jamie Oliver cookbook. The ingredients are there, but not all of them fit the palette for cleansing. Do you see what I mean? It was kind of one of those strange experiences, and I don't know what the next, 6 episodes or 5 episodes have in store for us. I'm not holding my breath. They're building up to something good, but it could go either way. So folks, if you enjoyed this quick oversight about The Boys, the first 3 episodes are season 3 on Amazon Prime right now. Make sure you get your Billy Butcher laser eyes on that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. And if I were you, you little cretins, you bollocky morons, I'll see you on the next video. You got that?
Put that little on his side. Jiminy Cricket's OD.
I see Dan gave you a pistol. Not a bad weapon, but if you want some subtle killing power, you'll need to use a wing stick. They've got a nanocore for smart targeting, but it'll still take a little practice to master. I'll make a deal with you. You prove you can hit something with them, and I'll tell Halleck it's safe to sell you some. Ready to give it a toss?
Office blocks, corner shops, traffic jams on every street.